to Milan Malpensa airport. I arrived last night on Wizz Air from Luton. That flight will be on the channel shortly if it's not already. I stepped in the pods in the airport terminal, which was a very interesting experience. I had a really poor flight on Wizz Air last night, so I'm hoping today I can make up for that on the second leg of this Wizz Air little trip. We're going down to Zakynthos, or Zante. It's a 2-hour flight. Enjoy the video.
Security was quick and easy this morning, and once airside you dropped downstairs into the departure lounge. Most shops here are still closed at this time of the morning, so I headed towards gate A72 for today's flight. Here there was a busy coffee shop, which was open, and some lounger chairs, which is just what I needed. Before long a queue started to form at the gate, and I'm unsure as to what was being checked as no announcement was made. The queue grew into a mass before boarding started around 5 AM. An hour later I was still in the queue to board. I was one of the last to board, and most people handed in forms to the gate staff. I didn't hand in a form, and I wasn't asked for one either. I did however need to show the gate staff the barcode from the Greek entry form you must complete 48 hours before your trip. Today's flight was scheduled to be on an A321, and I did pay in advance to reserve seat 13F just in front of the engines. However, when you're told you need a new boarding pass, that is never good news and usually means a seat change or an aircraft swap. Maybe this is why boarding took so long.
This is the new seat.
Okay, thank you.
A new seat. Oh no. Thankfully, on inspection it's still 13F, which is even more confusing. And there we are, a downgrade to an A320. Upon boarding I did notice a sticker on the door. Interestingly, it's to confirm the aircraft was disinfected at 2:21 in the morning, the day of the flight. That is quite reassuring. Right then, where's my new seat 13F? It's the second exit row. What do you think, good or bad? The captain said that our short delay today was caused by lazy boarding. That's a new one on me. He also said there's new paperwork they're still getting used to when flying to Greece. We taxied out past some of the cargo stands, and there's some really interesting aircraft parts here, including this American Airlines Dreamliner and several jumbos. There wasn't much traffic around this morning, but did check out this Sri Lankan A330 inbound from Colombo. Our departure runway today is 35 right, which we took off from around 6:42 AM. We turned right and headed south, setting course down the spine of Italy. On the A320 you get a purple seat versus the blue that you'll find on the A321. It's at this point that I was quite grateful for the aircraft swap, meaning that I did get the extra legroom on this flight, although I couldn't access my bag as it was in the overhead locker. Checking out the toilet at the rear of the aircraft, you can tell the aircraft's age at 6 years old, given away by the metal fixings and just how spacious it was compared to the Neos. Again, soap is in a self-contained dispenser, and overall the bathroom was pretty clean, although the air filter up top could do with a de-dusting. This was a calm and quiet flight, and the crew did offer a bar service and full in-flight shopping, but most people, including myself, slept for most of the journey, given just how early the time still was. Cruising over southern Italy, we had some rather interesting cloud formations to contend with. As we start the descent, I'm reminded at how normal this all seems to me now. This was my 5th flight since the lockdown, and I've gotten used to wearing the mask and the new procedures that you have to follow. On an airline like Wizz, whose main policy change is wearing a mask, there's nothing really different in the service offered or what's available. We lined up on runway 34, bringing us in straight over the sea. If you sit on the left of the aircraft, you'll get a stunning approach as the aircraft banks to the left to line up with the runway. We came in over the beach and landed on time at 9:30 AM. Oh, and sorry for the window condensation.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Zakynthos Airport.
It's only a small airport and it didn't take us long to get onto the stand. All of the gates here are bus gates. We were asked to disembark by row, but as with my previous flight it wasn't policed and it was a free-for-all. To maintain distancing, passengers weren't crammed into buses, meaning I got a treat and had to wait at the top of the stairs. This gave me a chance to take a photo for the thumbnail of this video. After a short wait, the bus turned up and it was down the steps and onto the terminal. I paid €22.49 for today's flight, booking 5 days in advance. On arrival into Greece, you need to show your QR code to the immigration or police officer, which at the time I travelled you had to request at least 48 hours prior to your arrival. The QR code was emailed to me at around 1 AM that morning. When you present your code, you'll either be waved through or asked to take a COVID test. Although I was checked to see if I had a code, it wasn't scanned.
So that was Wizz Air after lockdown. That's flying Wizz Air from Malpensa to Zakynthos or Zante in Greece. That flight was much better than the previous one that I had from Luton to Malpensa the previous evening. It was a little bit delayed, boarding was still fairly chaotic, but I think that was more to do with everyone having to have a QR code and the different processes and procedures that are now in place. So I guess that's just teething problems, but that's just the world we live in at the moment, I think. Interestingly, same as what we saw in Malpensa last night, there were multiple buses. Normally on an A320 maybe have 2 buses to pick everybody up, then take them to the terminal. I think there were 4 or 5, which is a hell of a lot for an A320 for what, just under 190 passengers. So they are trying to maintain distance where possible. I hope you enjoyed the video and I hope that's given you a flavour of what it's like to fly on Wizz Air. It's certainly an airline that I've always been fond of in the past, but I think the way they're dealing with some of the procedures and not really doing much to prevent the spread, it's sort of made me question them a little bit. I think in this series of videos that I've done now, we've seen British Airways, EasyJet, Ryanair, Wizz Air and Jet2. EasyJet were really the standout performer when I took that flight from Gatwick. That was a really good performance that they put in. I think Ryanair and Wizz are probably the worst, probably on par. Thanks very much for watching the video. I really do hope you enjoyed it. We're getting really close to 1,000 subscribers now, so I know 90% of my viewers aren't subscribers. Please hit that subscribe button. There's plenty more videos to come up about what it's like to fly post-lockdown and plenty more in the backlog that I've yet to edit from what it's like to fly before lockdown. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next time.